but still.
Yeah, of course.
Everything is relative. None of them are completely cowardice or cowardly. That's the word. They're chances, like in my head, the way that it kind of goes is Yo, who's kind of known for being reckless and doing things without thinking, so says the Wikipedia page for her. Which is kind of look at what's going on in Tokyo and just be like, I'm going. I don't care, I'm going. And after about 5 seconds of trying to reason with her, Chica's just like, well, if you are, then I am. And Ruby would be hesitant to, but see those two, and then she would do it, and then Daya would follow her to make sure that she stays safe. Kana would probably follow all four of them. And then suddenly, by the end of it, you have the entire group just being like, fuck it.
And Max.
Not a far cry from their Sunshine in the Mirror counterparts at that point. God damn it. Yeah, that spin-off is continuing to, I guess, bewilder me with how dramatically different it is. In that spin-off, pretty much everybody in the entire cast kind of exudes that energy of walk the line between brave and foolish. And similarly, or in a similar vein, also kind of exudes this we will fuck around and find out energy that is kind of, it's there in base Aqua, but the context is completely flipped around. Saying you're courageous.
Fuck around and find out energy that the boys kind of don't like.
Well, that's the thing. That's the spin-off versions of them. I don't know. Like, Aqua, you know, like school idols are described as being courageous and inspiring for what they do. I don't really know if there's a frame of comparison between that and fighting monsters, which is what happens in the spin-off. I think there's a separate definition of courage for... Actually, I think in the School Idol's case, that word would just be motivation.
Well, I also feel like it's a different kind of courage to be like up on stage with a whole bunch of eyes on you and dancing and singing versus like, hi, you're in a life or death situation, dude.
Yeah, that's why I say it's like motivation slash...
It's a different kind of courage, I reckon.
Yeah. But you can't really compare the two because of just how dramatically different those contexts are. As much as it seems like a running thing with any instance of an idol appearing in a game where their main purpose is not as a rhythm game. Mind you, there's exactly 3 that I can think of. One thing that is commonly mentioned is that in some way their innate courage that lets them go up on stage and perform is also helping whatever else they're doing, in spite of that sort of blasé comparison. That is literally one of Risei's win quotes in Persona 4, is her basically saying that. And Barbara will tell you the same thing against him. And I'm also pretty sure that Muse themselves, either Muse or Aqua themselves, say it in the Gran Blue Fantasy collab. It's a completely different context, but it's still the same application. In a very weird way. Hasn't been mentioned yet either, but one could probably say that it takes about the same courage to drive a race car at super high speeds. Correlation, not causation, but at least that helps to explain the fact that there are 17 different idols in the challenge series. If not more. I think I might have miscounted.
At the very least in challenge series, for the turn so wonky enough where your car will pull a CLR and become an airplane on the Mulsanne Strait.
No, but they might as well do that at Lago Maggiore or Kyoto Park.
Yeah, that's
on
true.
the downhills there. Also, unlike real life, there are people like Alice in Chains on the racetrack sometimes.
Just
People.
What would we call them? Like free radicals.
People who would never be granted an FIA license.
People that were briefly in racing and now are no longer in racing because of the bullshit.
Most people just call them banned, I think. Yeah, that was in even kind of keeping the same thing going. That would sort of be in this another head and side story. That would sort of be flipped back around on it. When I mentioned, like, you know, I would even like say straight to Mercury themselves, like, I'm hanging up at least the expressway racing helmet before somebody else gets hurt on my behalf, pretty much. If everybody in their mothers seems to realize now that you girls are associated with me, everybody that hates me is gonna try to get to me through you, then I'm just not even gonna stick my nose out there in the first place. And there's two counters that'll probably be used on me at that exact moment. Counter. Have it. The first being, do you really think they'd stop just because you will? And the other one being, do you really think we're helpless?
Yeah, both points brought up against you at the same time.
There probably would be. Yeah. It'd probably be somebody like Ellie saying the first point, and then somebody like Maki saying the second one. In my mind, since the Gran Blue Fantasy collab is actually canon in the challenge series, based on the events of Just Fantasy, that's some kind of bits and pieces of that would kind of bleed into how the Love Live characters are represented here in a way. Because, you know, guess what they do in that game? They fight monsters. So, that would be literally no different from what will happen during the reality portion. So at least in this universe, the whole idea of, oh, they're just school idols, they're just gonna shy away from actual danger, that can stuff itself. That's very clearly not true. And even if not, I mean, shit, there are already 2 other idols in the same series who are probably going to be doing the same goddamn thing. Rise is going to be helping Chie and Kanji, and Barbara is certainly not about to shy away from people getting hurt. Even if being bitten by a void is, I'm thinking, probably an injury that not even Barbara could rectify. Since, if I remember correctly, that sequence is either when you get bitten by a void, you either awaken to in-birth powers, or you die. So, there isn't an in-between, there's no grace period, there is no saving a person. If you get bitten, it's either become an in-birth or become dead.
There's no Easter Bunny, there's no Queen of England. You do not pass and go, you do not collect $200.
Suffocation, there's no breathing. Oh, that's right, that wasn't. One thing that is changing, given how many times it has fucking committed die, and the fact that it technically wasn't needed in the first place, Akira is dropping his LFA because in order for that thing to even reach the 750 category, it needs to have no rear wing. But that's the reason the car drives like shit. So there's a problem with no solution. And trust me, I tried to find one. But it didn't really matter, because the entire time, his GT500 Supra was still in my garage. Which also would have been in the same damn category.
Right. Didn't something happen where you lost access to it, though?
That was with the whole timer thing, but that's obviously... that was fixed. Okay. Just out of nowhere.
So
that was
bottom
somehow...
line, so bottom line, Made in Heaven has gone to heaven, and the old GT500 is going to come back out again.
Yeah, and likewise, his brother's Skyline is going to make a return as well. Well, specifically GT500 Skyline.
Yeah.
And then there's the question of, so I have the NSX GT500 now, who the fuck would use that? don't think it'd be anybody on TRT though.
Probably not.
Because the only one who doesn't immediately have like specific ties to a manufacturer is, I guess, Blonde doesn't have to drive exclusively Toyotas. But everybody else is pretty much bound to one company.
Right. Yeah, well, I've got a Ray Brig livery on mine, but that doesn't really go a lot on Monica's literally just driving a fucking O2 NSX in that category that already is GT500 swapped. Wouldn't quite make a whole lot of sense if, yeah, I'm gonna drop this in favor of a fucking GT500 car. Doesn't Shoji kind of have just a general Honda dealio?
It's meant to be front-wheel drive Hondas.
Specifically Civics and Preludes and whatnot.
Yeah, even still, he has an NSX.
Right. Hmm. I think I'm probably gonna have to start taking sips of my fuel because I don't think I've left myself quite enough to just go balls out for the rest of this race.
Glancing at my options here amongst Honda drivers. Ironically, Honokai wouldn't need it. She would probably be the best candidate if she didn't get an R34 Skyline up there.
Well, it's also just like, I'm amazed you don't have an OC that's NSX focused.
Closest thing to that is Pepper Mills. And even then, her Halo car is a freaking Ford, so.
1842. Okay, that's PP.
Shoji has the one NSX. Alice Carson would also probably be the next closest. Since she is, I think she would probably be the overall Honda character,